Good morning and welcome back to Margin. This morning we're going to talk about giving even when you don't feel like it. So let's jump right into it. It's so easy in a time of great uncertainty to see the need around us and not know necessarily how to get involved, how to give of our time and our resources to give back and to contribute in a time that many people need that support and those resources. So with that, I wanted to go into an episode talking about the importance of giving and wanting to inspire you, encourage you to make this part of your plan to spend. Now, we just went through a process of going through a good, better, best scenario of looking at how to budget. And we looked at the 80-20 rule, the 50-30-20 rule, as well as a zero-based budget approach. Now, we looked at each of those methodologies so that it would ease an individual into the process of budgeting, in the process of building a plan to spend. Now, with each plan to spend, you should be setting aside a certain amount that you can actually give back, that you can utilize to donate to your local 501c3, your local nonprofit, or to be able to donate to a family in need or support in some other way. But the purpose of Margin is to figure out those aspects that really inspire you the most to be able to be a part of and to be able to have the margin built in so that you can actually actively be involved in those causes. And as I mentioned, giving should be a component of any financial plan you put together. So as we go through the process of putting together a financial roadmap for you, this component should be something that you actually set aside both time and resources for. So I'm sure you can relate to this, but I often feel like so many people are just so busy. And you talk to anyone in your immediate sphere, and oftentimes their schedules are blocked out and scheduled up, and they are busy, they're packed out. And so oftentimes with that leaves a little room for inspiration, little room for spontaneity, and for you to have that opportunity to step in and help in someone else's time of need. And so with that, we're constantly trying to chase and catch up to and keep up with and surpass even those that are in our sphere. And if we were to actually take a step back and look at those aspects that we want to be involved in, we will probably not be involved in a lot of the aspects that we are in. And we would feel less of that pressure to keep up with others by being involved in all those aspects, being that we would be focused more so on those things that actually make us come alive. So the problem with being so busy is that we oftentimes can put that focus back on ourselves rather than looking out and seeing the needs of those around us. And so what happens is that we fill up our schedules and we don't realize the needs of those in our family or friends groups. We don't see those needs within our neighborhoods. We don't see those needs within our communities. And so with that, we are going through life, getting a lot done, but maybe not a lot of the right things necessarily. And so with that, we want to make sure that we are taking time for those things that really truly do matter. So I recently had a conversation with my grandparents who have lived in the same house in the same neighborhood for many years now, since the late 70s. And so with that, they were able to tell me about their neighbors. They were able to tell me about who had moved in and out of the neighborhood and what, families had recently moved in, what their kids' names were, as well as other details about their lives. And that's just a byproduct of actually being involved in a community. And I think many times today, we may be living in a community, but we are not engaged with that community. And so with that, it's important to look at how we can actually open up our front doors and actually meet our neighbors and actually be welcoming, and looking at how we can connect with those around us and actually be involved enough to know what is going on in our communities. Now, we could all see how beneficial it would be to be involved in our communities, to be involved in charitable events, charitable causes, and just pouring out and being available to people. But many of us don't do that. And I believe that our society is the way it is today because so many people are living their lives separated. And especially with the last year and how challenging that has been for many, we have seen so many people just isolated and so many people not spending time with their loved ones and people that matter most in their lives. And so with that, what ends up happening is people don't actually have an opportunity to pour out, and other people don't get the opportunity to be poured into. And so basically it has this spiral effect in our community where people aren't getting time with each other, and so therefore they're not able to see what's going on and be compassionate towards each other, because they're seeing what other people are actually walking through. And so the purpose of this really is to take the focus off yourself and figure out how you can get involved in a way that can inspire you, but ultimately be hands and feet in your community to actually be an agent for change. So I was looking through some data in regards to giving, and I found some statistical data as well as some surveys that had to do with how giving had performed in the last few years, as well as where it was projected to go. And so with that, the Gallup survey basically found that over the last 3 years, there had been a decline in monetary giving by about 10% and a decline in time given by about 6%. Now with this, that doesn't necessarily mean that going forward we're going to see the same results, but it is concerning nonetheless in regards to where people are putting their time and resources. So despite the apparent decrease in charitable activities and charitable donations, I believe that there's a great opportunity for us to lean in, especially as so many people are fearful and are leaning out of these opportunities to serve people. And I believe that we are all operating in a place where we do need input from other people, and none of us are self-made. We do need input, we need challenge, we need support, and we also need to be that for someone else. And so in this season of life, I've really leaned into this aspect, and I actively invest in and pour into a handful of guys who are some steps behind me in the process of their careers. And I've found a great deal of joy in doing that, excitement in doing that, and helping someone else navigate some of the aspects of life that I believe would be a lot more challenging without someone who has gone before you. And so with that is one component, but I also love to spend time researching and meeting with people in regards to building margin into their personal finances. And so this is why this resource has been made available to you is because it's a passion point for me to help people build this margin into their lives. And the other component is I actively give back to a 501c3, to a nonprofit that I want to be a part of and that I want to serve in. So with that, those are the three components that I've found to be an inspiration to me, something that I can give back in, and I can actively lean in when so many people are leaning out. So what does this look like for you? Oftentimes we get scared about the sacrifices we will have to make and the time and the resources we would have to give up in order to put someone else and their needs ahead of ours. And so with that, what aspects can you lean into that you are inspired by, that you can take a portion of your plan to spend and invest in someone else, invest in a organization that you believe in, or invest in actually making the world a better place? And so with that, I know that that's a daunting task, but it happens and it occurs by each of us doing our part and each of us giving back in the way that we are inspired to do so. So my call to action today comes down to finding a way to give back today, whether that's buying someone's meal or buying someone's coffee or doing something even small from that standpoint, or whether it's reaching out to someone that's been on your heart that you want to invest in and be available to, or it comes down to you just being intentional with building in a certain amount into your finances so that you are actively contributing to a cause of choice. And so with that, my challenge to you is to make sure to lean in these areas, because what you'll find is there's so much excitement that comes out of that. And oftentimes you can feel like you are actually getting so much more out of it than even you are giving to that other individual or that organization. And that's what I've found to be true. And that's why I would challenge you to make sure that this is part of your plan to spend. If this information is helpful to you, explore the Margin membership, where me and my team will help you take the information you're learning and apply it to your life and your finances. I've built an interactive course that allows me and my team to come alongside people like you to help you revamp your finances and build margin into your life. Click the link in the description below for more information.